So meditation is really, it's an intentional mind and body practice. It's a lot about focusing your attention on one thing, one object, one thought, one affirmation. And I like the word uncritically or non-judgmentally, focusing your attention on that. Having an open attitude when we do practice meditation. And the goal is not to exclude other thoughts that come in when we're practicing meditation, but it is the intentional choice of I'm going to refocus my thought on this object or this affirmation that I started with, right? So if I think my affirmation is going to be peace, for 5 minutes, I'm just going to focus on peace. I know that other thoughts are going to come to my mind, and that's okay. Have the thought, don't be judgmental about it or worried about it, but in this 5 minutes that I'm intentionally dedicating to meditating, I'm going to refocus my attention back to that peace that I started off with. Mm-hmm. It's in our nature for our mind to drift and thoughts to go everywhere, so just bringing it back to this meditation time. It's also a time to focus on the sensations in our bodies. So how are we physically feeling? But also when certain thoughts or emotions do pop up, how does that affect us physically? And just really being aware, an awareness of what's going on, mentally and physically. Like we said, it's the nature of our mind to drift. And I got this from a workbook, actually a meditation workbook, but over time, the more we practice meditation, whether we're doing it a couple of times a week or we are doing it every day for a period of time, there are studies that are showing that thoughts, when we start to refocus those thoughts that drift away, right, it can start us to help us realize that when you are intentionally focused on an object or an affirmation, you can't be worried or feel fearful or feeling hate at that time. So those feelings that make us uncomfortable or nervous or we don't like these, if I'm intentionally focusing on an object or a thought during my meditation, I can't have those feelings either. Another thing it can help us realize is it's not necessary to think about everything that pops into your head. You can choose which thoughts that you think about. And I find that pretty profound. We act in certain ways because we have certain thoughts that over our lifetime have become habitual. In practicing meditation, habitual patterns of thought and perception on things can begin to lose their influence over us once we become more aware of them. And meditation can help us get there. What are those thought patterns that I have, or those perceptions on certain situations that I have? And maybe they'll start to lose some influence over us, and we can change our ways of behavior or our ways of responding to certain thoughts or certain situations. And thoughts and emotions that pop up are not permanent. They pass in and out of our mind and our body, and they don't need to leave a trace. We can feel the thought, feel the emotion, think the thought, and that's okay. It doesn't necessarily have to leave a trace in us. And I've heard Holly say over and over again, feel the emotion. And when you feel that emotion and name that emotion, you can claim it, and now you have more control over it. And meditation helps us get there, especially if we're not aware of those thoughts or emotions. Some possible benefits. There are a lot of benefits that several studies over time have shown, and meditation has been a form of medicine or a practice for as long as time has been around. Think about it. And in many different cultures, it's a big thing. In the Western culture, it's starting to become a bigger practice. But it increases our calmness and our physical relaxation. So it physically relaxes our body, takes us out of that stress state the body just naturally goes into and can help us relax physically. It helps us in coping with illness. And this is a long-term illness or a short-term illness as well. And there's a lot of studies that show that it helps with brain health. And this is a few different studies shown that it can increase the volume of our hippocampus. And the hippocampus area of our brain it houses our short-term memory, and it's our processing center. So everything we take in from the day gets processed in our hippocampus and stored throughout our brain. So practicing meditation regularly has shown that it can increase the volume of that hippocampus, physically, structurally increase that volume. And also on the cortex of our brain has little valleys in there. Several studies show that the people that practice meditation, they have more wrinkles or valleys in the brain, which they believe also helps process information better and quicker too. There are also studies that show that it affects the amygdala activity, even when we're not meditating. And the amygdala is the area of our brain that does process emotions, the fear emotion, happy emotion, you name it. And meditation helps us control those emotions and process them. But even when I'm not meditating, the effects of it, the positive effects of it, can stay with me longer in the amygdala and help me process those emotions better. It's been shown to decrease blood pressure, decrease symptoms of IBS or any GI tract symptoms you might be having, can decrease anxiety, decrease depression, help people that have insomnia, can help decrease pain or help you manage pain for a longer period of time, and hostility as well. I found that interesting. Meditation is being used in the treatment and prevention of heart disease, high blood pressure, migraine headaches, or any autoimmune disease like arthritis or diabetes. So it's being used as a form of medication, essentially, as well as psychological benefits that we have from it. We're going to talk about getting ready, like to set yourself up for good meditation, like set you up for a good practice for it. But I wanted to make sure, Holly, did you have anything you wanted to add?
I just wanted to add, I really used this before my knee replacement, and then I used it after my knee replacement. I used it before my knee replacement to help with pain management because I was in so much pain. I was having a really hard time walking. I was having a hard time sleeping, and bought a meditation CD that was specific to pain management. They're very similar. This one just was specific to it. And then I used it afterwards, not only for pain management, but also because it had helped so much before, I used it for, I guess probably the anxiety is the best word, for my physical therapy. I would do it before my physical therapist arrived to help me kind of prepare to go in and do my exercises. And I recovered in half the time of what the doctor said I was supposed to be out. I was supposed to be out 12 weeks and I was back in 6. And I think this was a big part of it.
Thank you for sharing that. I know it's, you shared it in other classes, and I find it amazing. Just in this time with COVID and the uncertainty, I started to meditate, and it has helped my mental state so much better for me to be able to cope even in the uncertainty, and get through this a little bit better than I think I would have left to my own devices. For meditation, and I will say there are many different types of meditation that you can do. We're going to do a beginner thing. There's not, I don't think there's a really right or wrong way to do this, as long as you're kind of meeting the basic tenets of meditation, which is, I want to focus my attention on one thing, right? You can do just a couple of minutes as a practice. You can even go all the way up to 30 minutes to an hour. But I think what the main, or one of the biggest goals is to do it regularly. I want to be able to have this a part of my lifestyle and what I do to help me through anything, whether I'm living in uncertainty, or I'm going through a surgery, or I'm caregiving, or whatever it is, or it's just life. to get me through this. And the more we practice it, the more, the easier it's going to be, and the easier it will be to just kind of have kind of no thoughts or just focus on this one thing. And the longer you can do it also. It's okay if you fall asleep while you do it. Sometimes that happens, not a big deal. It's really a non-judgmental time just to spend with yourself. But you do want to come into it with an open attitude. And this is being an open attitude to meditation and learning about it and the effects and the benefits of it. But just also an open attitude of non-judgmental, or when I do have thoughts that come in, that's okay. The thought's okay. I'm just going to shelve it for right now so I can focus on what my affirmation or that object is I'm going to focus on. And centering yourself. So you do need to kind of prepare yourself to meditate, whether it's 3 minutes or 20 minutes. And this is being deliberate about my calmness and my thoughts. A description that was told to me is like, if you're meditating, you think of yourself as you are the eye of the hurricane. And the eye of the hurricane is the calm part of it, right? And everything else is going on around you, but you're that eye, and I'm going to stay calm right now, even though there's a hurricane going on around me. And to do that, you can use your posture, and you want to make sure that you're comfortable. This is, you can be sitting in a chair, you can be lying down, you can be cross-legged. You just want to be comfortable. And practice breathing. We've talked about deep breathing a couple of weeks ago. We did it last week a little bit with stretching as well. And the deep breathing is through your abdomen, right? When you breathe it all out and you go slow, you breathe slow, and then you think of a mantra or an affirmation to help you refocus your thoughts. Or you do have an object, maybe it's a candle or a picture or a flower that you want to focus on to help you refocus. Set the environment up. Make sure you don't have any distractions. It's a quiet environment. I know sometimes it helps to have like a stimulus in the background, like a fan or white noise to help you focus too, or help drown out any possible distractions as well. That can definitely be a part of your meditation if that helps you. And then we talked about being comfortable and using your posture to center yourself and be deliberate about, I'm in this space, and I'm in the space for myself right now. So we're going to actually do 2 meditations. The first one is about a 3-minute meditation, and it's Deepak Chopra, you say his last name, kind of walks through what we've just walked through already, but it's a 3-minute meditation. So he's going to walk you through a meditation, and then after that, we'll do a one that's a little bit longer. It's about 5 minutes, so we can practice and see how we feel as we do this. So if y'all just get comfortable wherever you're at, and just follow along.
Okay, now we're going to do something very interesting. We won't close our eyes, okay? So have what is called soft eyes, which means become aware of the space we're in. Don't focus on me, although you're aware of me on your screen, but actually I'm in your consciousness right now. But just be aware of the space we are in. And now let's start our meditation. So start to observe your breath. Start to observe your breath and don't manipulate it. And notice that even as you observe it, it slows down. Your mind will wander. When you become aware that it wanders, bring it back to your breathing. As it goes in through your nostrils, and then out through your nostrils. Okay, now we're going to do something very interesting. You may keep your eyes open, but start to repeat your full name. So I am Deepak Chopra. I am Mary Jo. Repeat it mentally. And now invite all the stresses you have right now, all the things you have to do, your deadlines, all the problems you have, invite them. Let your awareness fill up with them. Okay, now drop your last name, just repeat your first name. I am Deepak, mentally. And this time, invite experiences from your childhood into your awareness. when you were less than 12, your parents, your siblings, your school, your classmates, happy days, not so happy days. And now drop your first name. Just say I am, with no labels attached. I am. Let memories and thoughts fade. Just I am. Now if you want, you can replace I am with aham or om. Just a sound. No associations. Let's do it for a few seconds. Aham, aham. Now even let that go. Sit quietly and just be aware of being aware. This is our ground state before a thought arises, before a feeling. It's who we really are, a field of infinite potential. Rest in being. Rest in awareness. Rest in existence. Just be. Okay, before we come out, feel all the sensations in your body. I hope you're feeling a little refreshed. You can do this again and do it as often as you want, and you can do it for longer. Thank you.
Welcome to this 5-minute guided meditation for beginners. My goal is to walk you through some simple steps to make meditation simple, easy, and enjoyable. Your main objective here is to just give yourself some time to relax and clear your mind and get centered. You don't have to reach nirvana to benefit from meditation. So just do away with any preconceived notions you have and just set a goal of making some quiet time for you. So before we start, it's helpful to get into a comfortable position. Roll your shoulders, stretch out your arms, and just get centered and comfortable. Now close your eyes and take a couple of slow, deep breaths in and out. Do that again, another breath slowly in, fill your lungs, and slowly and completely empty the lungs with a slow breath out. Excellent. You're doing great. See how easy this is? Now just sit and do your best to clear your mind. For many people, this is often a challenge, especially when you start a meditation practice. When those thoughts come up, and they will, don't fight them, don't resist them, acknowledge them, but treat them as if you're observing thought clouds that are just drifting across the sky. And just sit. There's nothing to do. This is time you have set aside for yourself to simply relax, get centered, and get quiet. So I'm going to give you a little time now and just do your best to sit and simply be. So let me ask you, where is your attention now? Did a thought or two pop up? There's a really good chance it did. And if so, that's okay. Acknowledge it, just let it drift off. Bring your attention back to the present moment, to your breath, to the sounds in the background music. Just relax and be here now. Well done. Congratulations on taking this early step to being more mindful and treating yourself to this gift of meditation. Ideally, you want to make this a daily practice, so please return to this recording as long as it serves you. Thanks for listening. This is Bob Baker, and so long for now.
Well, I invite anybody to share how that makes them feel or how they're feeling.
After the first guy spoke there a while ago, that he was telling you to get rid of your name, you know, when we were going through that. That actually was a release to get rid of that straw man that I carry, you know, of who I am. It really felt good to just to get rid of him.
Well, I like the second one, and I almost fell asleep and fell off the chair. So
Yeah.
that's a good, I don't have to have chairs with arms.
And really, excuse me, really all I did was I just went to YouTube and searched meditation for 5 minutes or 3 minutes. So it's an easy, if you think, gosh, where am I going to start? Just go to YouTube, where I know there's several apps on the phone that you can go to as well, or just search your apps that can do guided meditations for you or help set you up for the meditation. And there's one for, the beginners. There's more with just those two individuals. One's to start your day off with, one's for particularly for pain, one's for getting through a tough time. There's ones for gratitude. There's a ton of them.
And you can look under mindfulness as well. They're not all necessarily under meditation. I've got an app called Mindfulness Coach, and it is the same type thing where you can do, I'm looking at it right now, and it even goes through like 2-minute trainings and things like that. And it's free. My favorite.
Much better. So I hope you enjoyed that and start using it as part of your daily relaxation. But we also have the journal prompt for today. Holly, do you want to talk about, I like this because it's a lot of kind of meditative journal prompt, but you want to walk them through this one?
So the journal prompt for today is right there with mindfulness. It's perfect for today. And it would be great to do after. You could either do it before or after, or you might do it before and after. Sit quietly for a few minutes, just breathing, listening to your body before you start your journaling. And I think especially if you did this before you started your meditation, about what are you feeling in your body, where do you feel strong, healthy, energetic, and relaxed, where do you feel tense, worried, uncomfortable, tired. For many of us, and last week we talked about this when we did stretching, that the 3 places that we tend to carry stress is shoulders, upper back, and neck. What is asking for more attention? And then what do you need to do to take care of your body? So you could use that journal prompt and then do some meditation and then come back and answer those questions again. You could do that journal prompt and then do some stretching or do some deep breathing or do any of these. What is this, our fourth week, I think, that we've been doing this, and then come back to it and find the ones that work best for you. But it's just taking a few minutes to really focus on your body. Our bodies tell us what's going on if we listen to them. They are made that way.